Arzu Jaeed представляет.
As you all know, 613 people killed, including 196 women and 70 elderly people. And these are words that are etched in our heads with no emotion left. Yet, behind every one of those numbers is a real tragedy, a broken life. Like when Suzanne involuntarily saved her husband's life as he was carrying her on his back to safety. The bullet came from behind and reached Suzanne instead of her husband. She died immediately. 613 people killed, including 63 children. Dr. Malik Iskandarov's daughter was only 5 years old, and she said to her father, "Dad, when everything happens, first kill me, then mommy, and then yourself." A 5-year had no place even thinking those thoughts, and yet. Statistics are not just numbers. These are human beings, children, people with full lives. Future teachers, scholars, pediatricians, musicians, simply parents. I always ask myself how this atrocity could have happened, not only to Azerbaijanis, but to any human being. And I ask how other human beings could do what the Armenian bandit formations did with the help of the Russian army. Kids' eyes were scorched with cigarette butts, limbs and other human organs get amputated, heads were cut with axes, underage girls were raped. When I was interviewing a female reporter during the Karabach war, she showed me evidence and testimonies by local doctors acknowledging that they were powerless because of the chemical weapons. Rivers were poisoned and one could not touch anything. The Khojaly genocide was an act of revenge at the cost of entirely innocent people. The revenge was invented and bolstered by Armenian nationalist forces using racist theories of genetic intolerance with Azerbaijanis. These were the exact words of Armenia's former president, Robert Kocharian, who himself participated in the Khojaly massacre, as well as other presidents, Serge Sarkisyan. And we all know his famous testimony quote. The so-called revenge ruled by Armenians that never even lived in the South Caucasus. Praised as a hero in Armenia, an international recognized terrorist, Malte Melkonyan, was described in his brother's memoir to have been so sad for being laid to the bloodbath at Khojaly. It is appalling to even think that someone with Western education, who had grown up with seemingly normal values, someone as me, who called the US home, can travel as far as here just to wipe away Azerbaijanis from a small city while torturing pregnant women. Monte is a 5-minute hero made on the blood of Azerbaijanis and devastated poverty of its own people. Here we are, with an open wound, with collective memoirs of inhuman atrocities that happened in front of the world's eyes. Trigger words like Christianity, genocide, indigenous population, ethnic cleansing, ancient lands being thrown around just to whitewash Armenia's fault from what happened on February 26, 1992. Or the intentionally mistranslated words of an Azerbaijani reporter, Chingiz Mustafayev, who showed the world fragments of the act of violence that Armenia tries so hard to whitewash now. To hide, to justify, to minimize anything except take accountability. The most shameless are the fairy tales about the corridor. I've interviewed a Khojaly survivor, and while for the whole interview he dealt with his emotions pretty well, when I asked him about the existence of some corridor the Armenians claim to have left, he said, "How it comes, you give me 3 meters length corridor and say, if I go a step left or right, you're going to shoot me." Azerbaijan liberated not just Karabakh. Azerbaijan liberated the Armenian nation too. The burden of being landlocked, with no potential or perspectives, the Armenian nation was losing day after day while a number of immoral Armenian leaders were making millions out of that land. And nothing was as promised. This is a new chapter that can be written with accountability. And while we are talking about Khojaly, one must not forget about numerous crimes committed in Ağdaban or Dashaltı, Karadağlı or Malibeyli, and I am devastated to say that I can continue this list. Khojaly is an apogee of what nationalism and terror can bring. This is a new chapter that can be written only with courage. Courage to say the right words, condemn all acts of violence, and put in all the forces and energy together so that nothing like this can ever happen again. Thank you.